Right, GS, let's have some fun here. I think the top two is a no-brainer. So let's get Warner and Shaw in there. Now, 3 and 4 is interesting. Is that a straightforward Mitch Marsh and Rishabh Pant?
Yeah, I think Dan had mentioned earlier that if you're picking Mitchell Marsh, you at least play him in the right role. And if he's not bowling, you picked him as just as a batter. He has to bat at 3.
Okay, let's get Pant in at 4. Of course, flexibility. It's more about what that team looks like. You can keep moving players up and down. There's left and right hand advantage to play with. So we could always see Pant at 3 if Warner and Shaw start well. Marsh possibly at 4. Now, let's go backwards for now, shall we, Jason, and have some fun?
Yeah.
Let's go 11, 10, 9, 8. Let's go Nokia 11. Let's put Nokia in at 11. Let's put Akshar Patel in at 8. Shardul Thakur in at 9.
Yeah.
I think those are the preferred numbers.
I think we could have either Kuldeep or another quick one of Chetan Sakaria or
so I think that's the call.
Kuldeep conditions.
Whether they've got Sakaria, they've got Khalil Ahmed. You think one of those two will play? Now the questions that we actually need to fill more importantly are what 5, 6, and 7 looks like for them. Because it's fair to say
Axar will be 7 and Shador at 8.
Okay, well, we could try that. Now, Wasim, one question I have is now with this team, you almost have to play Lalit Yadav to give you both options. Now, would you go with that? Would Lalit Yadav fit into this team at say 6, maybe 5?
Yeah, I think Sarfaraz at 5 could be one. Sarfaraz, Lalit Yadav at 6. That makes it, a little bit, you won't be happy with that when you're picking your first 11. So that is going to be
the alternate to that, Dan, is one of Sarfaraz and Lalit Yadav, and Rovman Powell plays as the 4th overseas. Would you rather have that, or would you rather keep that 4th overseas player for Ngidi or Mustafizur Rahman?
I think early on, to have the experience in the fast bowling unit, so Ngidi or Mustafizur would, I think that gives them a better balance than trying to
let's
put Rovman into the middle order.
And the interesting thing is both Ngidi and Nokia may not be available in the first 10 days because I think South Africa play a test series against Bangladesh till April 12th. So if both of them are not there, they'll be forced to play Fizz and Roman Powell.
Now, Roman Powell, of course, is not necessarily the outright bowler that you have, someone who can roll his arm over, but I think fair to say he's more the bat, or have I got that wrong? Dan?
No, 100% just the batter. I think his bowling will be difficult to pull off in the IPL. You may get 1 or 2 overs on some surfaces that aren't quite aren't the best. But
so here's what we can do. We can put Ngidi / Mustafizur there as the ideal start, right, for this team. It still leaves a question mark. We've got one Indian seamer. Yeah. So are we now adding Chetan Sakaria there at 4.2 crore, Khalil Ahmed at 5.25? Yeah,
I think Sakaria needs to be there because his death bowling was really good last season. So you would want Nokia and Sakaria to kind of finish the innings.
Wasim, happy with that? Sakaria over Khalil as far as where these two bowlers are with their game?
Yeah, I think so. I think Sakaria picks himself first before Khalil.
Okay, so now they've also got now they had to replace a whole left by Rabada. Now, if there's a question mark in this team, Dan, is it the middle order? Is it what Marcus Stoinis was doing for them? What Hetmeyer was doing for them last year? Suddenly now that responsibility falls to Sarfaraz Khan, Lalit Yadav, and the batting of Akshar Patel and Shardul Thakur combined. Would you rather have Rovman Powell then in?
Well, yeah, maybe they look at Mitchell Marsh as the person who's going to slot back down there. We've picked him because we think of his. We've picked him at 3 because of what he's done in the recently for the Scorchers in Australia, but maybe they see him slightly differently. So the options are there, and maybe you could play Khalil instead of the second overseas fast bowler, and you put Rovman Powell in that middle order. So the good thing that they do have is they have some options early on to find their balance.
Dan, which doesn't have room for Kuldeep Yadav. Do you think Kuldeep Yadav will get a long run in this, and would things change then?
Yes, I think Kuldeep Yadav would. I forgot he wasn't there. Yeah, I definitely think they'll give him a chance early on to balance up with Akshar Patel, because that's sort of been a formula that they've worked with playing the two spinners. They played Mishra a lot, I suppose, with Akshar, Ashwin as well. So I think it'll be something they're comfortable with. Yeah, so that may allow them to leave out the overseas fast bowler.
Yeah, so let's. I've been thinking on those lines too. So let me try and put that in and see how it looks. So let's put Kuldeep Yadav in place of Ngidi and Mustafizur for now, and let's just put the ideal 11, right? Assuming everyone's fit and available. So let's hope Nokia is fit and available, and therefore he would walk in. Now, in that case, would you replace one of Lalit Yadav and Sarfaraz Khan with Rovman Powell? Would that be the straight swap, Dan?
Yes, I think so. I think that's their only alternate option in terms of bringing in an overseas batsman.
And would be Powell over Seifert?
I think so. Yes. Yeah.
All right. What do you make of that, GS? Your thoughts? I'll get Wasim as well then.
Yeah, I think it's pretty similar to what I had in mind. This seems to be the best 11, but like Wasim said, after Pant, it's a key role, right? The finisher role, 5, 6, 7. I'm not very convinced with that. When you have a hole in the key position, it becomes a challenge. How much can you expect Warner and Marsh to bat to, or Pant to do that role? So maybe if required, Pant may have to drop one level below to kind of tackle the death overs. That could be something which they could try maybe after a few games. So because Powell, Sarfaraz, Aksar, you haven't really seen them kind of finish games in the IPL.
Interesting. Wasim, I think the question to follow then is, can Delhi invest a little bit or show a little bit more faith in the batting of Akshar Patel and Shardul Thakur along with Rovman Powell, who's a bit of an unknown entity? Or would you require this team changes a few things? Maybe ask Mitchell Marsh or even Rishabh Pant to bat lower. The Pant's numbers aren't great when he goes lower down the order.
Yeah, I think Ronak, for a good T20 side, that 5, 6, 7 is very, very vital number. That's where I think CSK has always been ahead, even Mumbai for that matter, Hardik, Pollard and those players. And that's where I think Delhi looks a little weak. So probably Sarfaraz coming in at 3, Mitchell Marsh dropping down. Even for that matter, Kuldeep, if Kuldeep, doesn't have few good games, they haven't got many, wrist spinning option who's played well and done well at the IPL. So they look very, weak on the spin department. There's only Akshar. Vicky Otswal is similar to Akshar again. Praveen Dubey, unknown quantity. So they're very light on spin bowling department as well. So, and Henrik Norkia is not going to be available for first few games. So that is going to be interesting what 11 they put up.